Miami has the potential to win the ACC this year and to get a spot in the college football playoffs as long as you don't have any games where the bad coaching ends up becoming a problem that we've seen in years past out of Mario Cristobal. But as a lifelong Hurricanes fan, I've never had more confidence in the team, the coaching staff, the quarterback play than going into this season. All right, I believe that Mario Cristobal is good enough to get Miami to that ACC championship game, especially if you have to go through Florida State to get it done, because FSU is not going to be good this year. Miami, from a talent standpoint, is way more superior than what the Seminoles are walking into this season. DJ Uiagalelei is a downgrade at quarterback from what you had in Jordan Travis. He's inconsistent. He never played that good in big games for Oregon State, and there weren't too many games that you could watch of him for the Beavers when he completed at least 60% or higher of his passes in games against top 25 teams. And it was the same story when he was playing for Dabo Swinney at Clemson. Having DJU at QB makes you a team that potentially could end up disappointing and not making it to the playoffs this year, because you're at least going to lose 2 or 3 close games because you don't have a quarterback who's been able to prove that he can play good football in the fourth quarter and make good decisions. And you also don't have a good wide receiving core. Meanwhile, for Miami, you have Cam Ward, who is arguably one of the best, if not the best, quarterback in college football going into this season. You got the second best running back out of the portal and Damian Martinez. You're stacked at wide receiver. You're going to have a really good offensive line. Miami offensively is more talented than Florida State. And the defenses, I think, are about evenly matched. Miami's just as good as what FSU is up front. And their secondaries, okay, I'll give it to Florida State. But Miami's corners and safeties are being severely slept on going into this year due to how well Mario Cristobal has done in high school recruiting. Florida State hasn't recruited at the level that Miami has the last couple of seasons. Miami has brought in a top 10 and top 5 class the last 2 years under Mario. I get that Mario has had his fair share of shortcomings, and he's had some really ugly moments like we saw in that meltdown against Georgia Tech. But let's not act as if everything was all easy daisies for Coach Norvell at Florida State. Because if my memory serves me correctly, before last season, there were a good amount of you Seminole fans, and y'all know who y'all are, who wanted Mike Norvell gone, or you were questioning if he was the right guy for this program. Mario Cristobal has recruited well. Miami has improved every single season under him. There's going to be some bumps in the road when you're trying to build up a contender and the team that struggled to recruit in the most talent-rich area in all of America, and the team that has consistently been let down by poor coaching in years past. You now have the opportunity with Mario Cristobal, somebody who's proven to win at a high level in the Power 5 conference at the time at Oregon. He won a Pac-12 championship. He got numerous guys drafted in the first round: Justin Herbert, Penei Sewell, Kayvon Thibodeau for the New York Giants. He's really good at developing talent. It's just that sometimes he has moments where the game just slips from within his fingers. But let's not act like Mike Norvell didn't have those similar moments when he was coaching earlier the last previous years before 2023 at Florida State. Miami's going to be a better team than FSU this year, mainly because they got better quarterback play. They're also going to be better up front than the Seminoles. And this is just going to be a more consistent football team. You can talk about the coaching all you want to, but Mike Norvell, he had some time management issues, and there were some concerns about how good he was and if he could be trustworthy last offseason. So I don't want to hear this nonsense about Miami doesn't have a chance because who their coach is, When we said this same thing about Florida State last year, you can call me biased all you want to, but I was honest last season when I said Florida State was going to go undefeated, win the ACC, and make the playoffs. So now I'm just all of a sudden being biased because I feel it's Miami's time. Florida State doesn't recruit at the level where they simply can rebuild. It's going to take a few years of them continuing to get some key pieces through the portal and recruiting to get back to the level that they were last season, because last season's team was constructed not overnight. It was constructed over the first couple of years that Norvell was there. There were some guys early that he got from the portal that he developed, like Johnny Wilson and Jordan Travis. And then last season, he went in and got some immediate impact guys that only had 1 year left of eligibility, i.e. Keon Coleman. 2023 FSU wasn't built in one day. It was a process. And with Mario Cristobal at Miami, it's a process. And now we're about to see the root of all of Mario Cristobal's hard work when Miami ends up going 11-1 this year, winning the ACC, and smacking Florida State's ass in the process. Florida State is very overrated this year. They don't have a lot of proven production at wide receiver. You're going to have really inconsistent and shaky quarterback play from DJU. You're going to have a good defense. Your run game is going to be good, but nobody's going to take you seriously when you got DJ Uiagalelei throwing the football to win you games in the fourth quarter. Miami has way more to be confident in compared to Florida State, man. I'm so tired of people gassing up the Seminoles due to the recency bias, but that's a discussion I'm going to save for another episode.